Slide of WGSO 990 AM or North Shore Radio Incorporated.
We can afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy.
Is working? Yes, it is now. Good morning, New Orleans. Welcome to the Jack Clegg Show. Happy voting day. I hope you all got out and voted this morning. And if you didn't, you still have plenty of time to vote. We're not going to talk about one candidate or the other today. You've been deluged for the last 6 months with this. And if you haven't made up your mind by now, you're not going to make up your mind. Okay. But what we're going to talk about is issues that will exist tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, no matter who wins. And that's the theme of today's show. And I've done a lot of reading between last Thursday and today, excuse me. And the same themes seem to be reoccurring. And so listening to today's show and participating, and you can call in WGSO at 504-556-9696 and share. This is the topics we're going to talk about today. And I hope we stay on topic because I'm curious as to what your feelings are as this. Okay. The first issue is, and we forget about this. We really do. We all have a personal stake in who runs a government. And anybody who thinks, oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about those guys. They're all liars. They're bad people. I care, et cetera, et cetera. Well, pal and young lady or whoever you happen to be, you are fueling them. There are very few things you can do in this world without funding the government, directly or indirectly. Taxes are everywhere. Every time you buy something at the store, if you buy a vehicle, if you buy something big, if you buy something small, you are funding the government. If you say, well, marijuana should be legal, you are funding the government. Everything that the government touches in the United States has one common denominator, and that is it is taking some of your money so a stranger can be hired to regulate some policy you don't even know. You don't even care. You might care if you knew it, but you don't know it. And so we're going to talk about that today. No matter who wins the election, to get a better country, we have to be more observant, more demanding of our government, particularly in this one single issue, and that is, how are you spending our money? And I'm going to go through a couple of stories today that are good examples of that, great examples of that. And again, it doesn't matter who's in charge. The only thing that justifies their existence is the fact that they can take your money and they can spend your money. And even if they don't take your money, they can borrow money from someone else and further burden you with the interest payments on those loans. So, no matter who wins, don't let up. The question is, what are you doing with my money? Why do you need so much of it? And what are you doing with it? I mean, it comes to the forefront today. Everyone knows when you go to the store, things are more expensive. Great example. I found this ice cream that I really like. They sell it at Rouse's. And now they sell it at Winn-Dixie, the other grocery store close to me that I shop at. And my favorite type of ice cream, in case you were curious, it's called Moose Tracks. It's really good. And people make it a little differently, and I've tried several kinds, but the one that I really like is manufactured by and has the logo called Turkey Hill. And I don't represent them. They're not a sponsor of mine, but it's really good ice cream. And I found it probably in June, and it was $2.99 for the small container, which I thought was great. Well, in August, I noticed the end of August, it was $3.99. Same container, same size. Yesterday, when I walked through, it's now $4.99. Now, okay, I understand when people say, well, it's the price of fuel is going up. The price of this is going. Don't tell me that. So I did some research. I entered Turkey Hill into the Google, and I Googled what happened to Turkey Hill. It's not Turkey Hill. Well, it's still the logo and the name, the trademark is Turkey Hill, but it's owned by an investment company. So what do they have to do? Well, their job is to make more money, and that's it. That is all they do. And oh man, I really like this stuff. Now I'm torn. I don't want to spend that much money. Ice cream. I don't get that much ice cream, but it's the principle of the thing. Okay, so so today's show was motivated by seeing the cost of things go up, 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 up. But what I got out of it didn't go up, 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 up. It was the same. It was the same thing. And I can't explain other than the fact that someone somewhere else thought, hey, we can take more of his money. We just charge more. We don't give him anything more. We don't give him anything different. We don't give him anything better, but we can take more of his money. So, the story I wanted to talk about, another example, and this is just because I am not convinced that the climate changes that we're having are actually man-made. I think the planet has a lot to do with it. I think the more you know about our historical climate changes, the more you'll see it doesn't matter. I mean, what exactly, if you read about ice ages and how they came about because of Mother Nature. We didn't have factories then. We didn't have carbon creating these things, but they happened and they killed the dinosaurs. They killed lots of people. They forced people to move from one place to the other. But it wasn't caused by that. Somebody chose the fossil fuel industry to blame for our climate. And the media jumps all over. Why do I say that? Well, if you listen to the weather, it seems to me that all weather people are trained. How can you make a story about the weather more scary? How can you scare people about the weather? And that's what we do. So this issue of climate change and the theme of today's show, watch where your tax dollars go. Okay. Yesterday, Monday, the day before the election, the House of Representatives Energy and Commerce Committee released a new report detailing how the Biden-Harris administration has given huge amounts of taxpayer cash to left-wing activist groups under the guise of environmental justice. Okay, so you don't have to read the whole article yourself. I'll tell you what they've done. Is the EPA and other federal agencies have diverted money to people that get grants, and these grants are used for a variety of purposes. But one of the purposes is to promote solar and wind power and to demonize fossil fuels. After the break, we're going to finish this issue. We'll take a break in a minute from the Jack Clegg Show. You're listening to WJSO 990 AM, and you're watching us on YouTube.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of equipment that could quickly warn you during an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
Hey, did you hear that the Britannia Bar uptown has a whole lot of new live entertainment going on? Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., they alternate either stand-up comedy or classic movie showings. Thursday at 9 is themed karaoke. They have live music on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 9 p.m., and every Monday is blues night starting at 6. Plus, they have the longest shuffleboard table in the city, a 22-footer. Wow! Located on the corner of Britannia and Delachaise Street, right across from Touro Hospital. Come check out all of the fun at the Britannia Bar.
Hi, this is Rusty from the Olive Branch Cafe. We use only the freshest ingredients, and we prepare everything from scratch 7 days a week. West Bank born, West Bank raised, West Bank proud. The Olive Branch Cafe, Marrero and Algiers.
Football season is here, and so is your game day MVP, Bougie Bologna, made with 100% smoked pork shoulder, seasoned to perfection and ready to tackle your taste buds. Try Bougie Bologna, perfect for building the ultimate sandwich stack, available in regular and spicy for those who like to bring the heat. If you're tailgating at the stadium or at home, we're the perfect addition to any party. Find us at a store near you or bougiebologna.com. Bougie Bologna, it's a game changer.
Real Talk with Revolution is back. This is Effie, and I've brought along some new friends.
Nikki D here. We'll be talking real estate, real life, and everything in between.
Please join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on WGSO 990 AM and streaming live at WGSO.com.
Hey, this is Christian Garrick. I'm excited about my new show on WGSO 990 AM, Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. There are a lot of things going on in this country and in this city that are concerning. I'm your voice. You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. The Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform, noon to 2, weekdays, right here on 990 AM WGSO.
All right, New Orleans, welcome back to the second segment of the Jack Clegg Show. This is the voting day morning edition. I hope you got out and vote. If not, get your ass out and vote today. You'll feel better about it. Okay, we were talking about no matter who wins, this is the issue of our day, at least one of them, and that is, why are we spending all this money on a variety of different things? And this has been always the case in America. There have been special interest groups who are there to lobby the government to spend money in their direction. And it's nothing new. And this has always happened. But what we've seen in the most recent administration, the Biden-Harris administration, is this belief in climate change, and that by spending your taxpayer money, we could fix it. Okay, well, tell me exactly why. Well, solar and wind power. Well, we already saw what happened in the Midwest and the East this winter. Remember, we were told electric vehicles were the answer? What happens when the weather gets too cold? The batteries freeze up and don't work. Gee, they didn't think about that, did they? So we need to really be very, very cautious and listen carefully and hopefully have people ask the right questions. Do you remember anybody being asked in this campaign about electric vehicles? Last Thursday, we talked about another topic that no one was asked about, and that was homelessness. One of the other topics we want to talk about today is quiet quitting. I didn't know what that was until this morning. Quiet quitting is what is happening among our younger generation who is dissatisfied with their lives. They're dissatisfied with particularly their work life. And what do? Quiet quitting is, in short, showing up and doing the bare minimum that you were hired to do for years and years and years and years. And then apparently being upset because you made the choice not to be ambitious, not to climb the corporate ladder and do the corporate things that people do, maybe take extra classes, maybe learn about your job, maybe do more work. You just are doing the bare minimum, just what you were hired to do. And you get so upset about it that eventually you just quit. But you quietly quit for years and years and years beforehand. This is so I read about it today, and apparently it's a thing. And this is exactly what Chinese young people have been doing since 2012. It was called lying flat. They were discouraged with what the Chinese government was doing and with the push and push and push to do things in economically, and having people work hard and work. The harder you work, the better the country will be. The better. Well, they worked hard and hard and hard and didn't see anything about it. Well, over the last 2 years, lying flat, that doctrine among the younger people has changed. It's now called let it rot, which is we're not even going to try to find jobs. Many of the young people in China work for their parents. Yes, they work for their parents. They clean the house. They go grocery shopping. They do all the things that their older parents, who are still often working or receiving pensions, would do, but they get paid a few dollars in cash by the parents. And so now we see this in the United States. So the quiet quitting is our version of let it rot. And I have some ideas about how that should work or shouldn't work. But before that, let's get Matthew on the line. Has Matthew called yet? Of course he has. Matthew, how are you today?
Oh, silly question. Mention his name and you shall see his horns.
There you go.
So interesting you brought up the first question is about corporate acquisitions for the purpose of squeezing more profit out of a business.
Yeah, making me pay more for ice cream. Yes. I mean,
well, you have to get down to a basic definition of what money is and how it's defined. And basically, money is basically life. It is a portion of my life that I exchange for some of this money to do something that somebody else needs done. They have money to give me because it's impractical for other things, barter.
Sure. Sure.
And so these large corporations, these people who pool, these large investment banks, they're all Chinese, just ask Alex Jones, pool their money together with the idea of having their money work to earn more money for the people who did the pooling. This is basically how a stockholder-owned corporation works.
Okay, let me ask this question. And the analysis, I'm with you there. Why do you think we're seeing more of it now than we did before?
More money?
No. Ownership of food companies, let's use food companies, by investment bankers and investing companies that are nowhere to be found.
Well, if I were to be conspiratorial, I would say it's because all of these investment banks and investment companies are somehow related to the couple of thousand elites that run the world, basically from behind the scenes,
Nah, I wouldn't
and
go there.
want to control the food supply.
No, I wouldn't go there. What I think.
I know you
is-
wouldn't, but I'm looking for another explanation, and hopefully you will provide it.
Well, I'm just saying that without imposing that evil motive, I'm simply saying that because of technology, when you were a grocery store initially, you knew who was supplying you with the food. You knew them. You knew them by name. You knew who they were. You dealt with them. You negotiated. And if you needed something more, something less, you had a relationship. Today, that's gone. Why? Because of technology. The communications today and the analysis that communications can provide is so different. And the companies that Rouse's might deal with in 1927 when they first opened, today they have no idea who they're dealing with. It's a name of a company. That's all it is. It is far away, and they have their goods trucked here by refrigerated trucks that come from who knows where. They really don't care as long as the product shows up and they pay, they get paid. And a store like Rouse's, I don't know, and I'm not being critical of them. They do what everyone else is doing. They have increased their prices a substantial amount. Now, part of it is that they have to pay more, but the other part of it is if you see people making money off the food, there's a human nature. Why can't I make money off the food? And they raise the price themselves. So I look at the ease. Matthew, hold on. We have to take a break.
Sure.
And we have to sell some things here. All right. This is Jack Clegg Show. We'll be back in a few moments.
Hello, this is David Jeremiah. Join me each weekday morning at 5:30 or 6:30 for Turning Point here on Talk Radio 990 AM.
Round these parts,
Pass will go out there and it's intercepted.
the game of football
Hammered back at the 29-yard line.
is all
Caught at the 15-yard line. 10, 5.
the rage.
Touchdown, Louisiana.
It means everything. It really does.
This is your radio home for Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns football.
Catch all the action of Ragin' Cajuns football this season only on the community voice of the Crescent City, WGSO 990 AM.
WGSO 990 AM is the only locally owned and operated talk station in New Orleans. We feature 20 local hosts discussing a variety of topics. In an era when the daily newspaper is being discontinued and our competitors are out-of-state media conglomerates, we ask you, our listeners, to support local programming on a local station. To advertise or sponsor one of our great shows, contact me at jeff@wgso.com or call 504-669-6076.
Listen each weeknight from 7 to 9 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr here on WGSO 990 AM.
Hi there, everybody. This is Jackie Gumbo, inviting you to join me each and every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. for Uncle Jackie's Gumbo. A little bit of this and a whole lot of that each and every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. only on WGSO 990 AM New Orleans or WGSO.com. Bring your gumbo, baby. We're going to have us a blast.
Hey, fellow Patriots, I'm John.
And I'm Mike.
We're the Jambalaya Boys from the Holy and Patriotic Jambalaya Show.
Join us Friday night at 5 to 6 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Andrew Greenstein. Will Kamala Harris be the country's first female president, or will Donald Trump be the second person to be elected to 2 non-consecutive terms? Polls show the answer at this point is anyone's guess. Results will start to pour in early this evening, and John Kuvion with JMC Analytics says he's focusing on 2 states in the early going.
The 2 states I'm going to be most interested in watching are Florida and North Carolina. For one thing, they have an early poll close. For another thing, because 70% of their vote is early vote, and they report very quickly in those 2 states.
Louisiana's 6th congressional district race has gained national attention after redistricting transformed it into a majority black district. Political analyst Bernie Pincinat considers Democrat Cleo Fields to be the frontrunner.
Most people expect the eventual winner to be Cleo Fields. Whether there's a runoff or not, we don't know. It depends on who votes and how many votes Hillary cuts into him.
A Democratic win could hand the balance of power in the House to the Democrats. LRN.
It's time to start betting on yourself. Louisiana 988 can help if you're dealing with tough emotions caused by gambling habits. You can share as much or as little as you want, and it's completely confidential. It's free, available 24/7, and most people who reach out report feeling better right in the moment. Call or text 988 anytime.
I'm Richard Fontenot, president of the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. For more than 100 years, Louisiana Farm Bureau has been the voice of Louisiana agriculture. Louisiana Farm Bureau advocates on behalf of all the farmers and ranchers across our great state. What that really means is we advocate for you to ensure we have the safest, most abundant, and affordable food supply in the world. Louisiana Farm Bureau is 145,000 members strong, and we want you to join the Louisiana Farm Bureau family.
Visit lafarmbureau.org. The Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
Don't get stuck in boring talk radio. Give it a much-needed splash of laughs and a little Southern Louisiana flavor with Implicit Bias Radio. I'm Kavan Bordelon. Join the crew and I each Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. as we give our thoughts on what's going down around the country. We'll crack open a fresh bottle of whiskey each week as we talk about what's swirling around in our heads and in the glasses. The Implicit Bias Radio Show, every Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on WGSO 990 AM.
Hey, this is BJ Russ. Make sure you join me every Saturday night for the Something to Say radio show right here on WGSO 990 AM. We'll be on from 7 to 8 p.m. We'll talk sports, music, movies, and pretty much anything in between. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM. That's the place to be. And don't forget that you can listen to us on WGSO.com and on the Mixler app.
Hi, this is Rusty from the Olive Branch Cafe. The Olive Branch Cafe pizzas, pastas, and salads are the West Bank's favorites. We use only the freshest ingredients and prepare everything daily, like our lasagna, Caesar salad with our homemade Caesar dressing, and signature pizzas, including our Cajun trio, smoked sausage, chicken, and crawfish. Our lunch menu includes wraps, subs, soups, and salads, and everything starts at less than $12. West Bank born, West Bank raised, West Bank proud. The Olive Branch Cafe, Marrero and Algiers.
Holy cow, I just ate the best lasagna I've ever eaten in my life. You know where I ate it? Randazzo's Family Restaurant. Whether it's a po' boy, lasagna, seafood, or salads, Randazzo's is where I go to eat. Oh, by the way, on the weekends, they serve breakfast starting at 8 a.m. My favorite is their massive, tasty omelets. Randazzo's Family Restaurant. Dine in, take out, or catering. Call Randazzo's 504-456-9069 at 504-456-9069. See their entire menu at randazzosfamilyrestaurant.com.
All right, New Orleans, welcome back to the third segment of the Jack Clegg Show here at WGSO 990 AM. And you're also watching us on YouTube. Matthew, we were discussing a relevant topic. Are you still there, Matthew?
I'm still, and you were going to have me the non-conspiratorial reason why these big investment banks were suddenly interested in buying up food processing plants.
Well, that wasn't the topic, but it's a great topic that you raised. Why are they doing? What I was saying is the ease with which they can do it, and then fall right in line. I mean, the fact that there was a supplier of this particular kind of ice cream, the fact that it's got a different owner today doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to the end supplier and to the user. We used to have product, some kind of a commitment to the product. It was also a commitment to the manufacturing plant, a commitment to the company that owned it.
Yeah, to make ice cream because they wanted to make ice cream, not because they wanted to make money.
Yes.
Do you know what the technical definition of fascism is?
Of
Not one that
fascism.
the left throws around all the time.
Well, it's hard to know because they call anybody they don't like a fascist, and they don't like a lot of people. But go ahead, give me the definition.
So the legal definition of fascism is private ownership of corporations and companies under heavy state control.
Under which state control?
Heavy
state control. Okay, I got you. Oh boy.
Easier to achieve if you have a few corporations, just a handful, maybe 100, maybe 500, as opposed to thousands and tens of thousands.
Sure. Yeah.
And the way you achieve that is you make it very difficult for anybody to compete against your chosen path.
Sure.
And basically moving a government with Federal Reserve and
Matthew, I'm going to have to interrupt you. The connection is really bad. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you call me back? Can you call me back? Hang up and call back. All right, thank you. Okay, and the point, and the relevant point, okay, to I think follow on to what Matthew was saying. He's going to call back in a minute. The relevant point was when you have a product and it's sold by a government, a company that's controlled by the government, you have two people you're dealing with, one of whom you're supposed to have control over. But I think we've given up our control over the government. Matthew, is it any better?
I have no idea.
Oh, it is now? Yes, it is. Go ahead.
So basically, we have been living under a fascist government since the Federal Reserve Act and since the income tax amendment that passed, legalized the income tax.
Given that definition, you are 100% correct. If that's the definition, we tend to take when fascism, when the word fascism was first used, at that point, governments were the size where they controlled the private means of production. Okay, it was just about starting. Prior to that, you could butcher a calf on your property and sell it, and no one cared. People bought it. They liked the price. They liked the way you delivered it. Maybe they liked the way you packaged it, whatever it was. And you sold that calf, and everyone was happy. Well, now you can't. You cannot do that. It's illegal.
No, you don't have permits.
Right. It's illegal. You could go to jail if you did that.
God help you if you have a squirrel without the proper permit.
Right. So we've got that. The question, what is our role in it? How can we make a difference? And I was hoping someone in the audience could tell me, how could I make a difference? I don't like the fact that this one product that I really like a lot has gotten more expensive. Well, when I went online and I looked at the prices everywhere, they've gotten expensive everywhere. So it's not like I can say, all right, I'm going to go to where it sells cheaper, and I'll go to the cheapest place, and because I do that, they'll keep their prices cheaper. No, I would be naive to think that.
Well, no, because a large corporation like that doesn't respond to market signals. And to be honest with you, let's be honest, they may not be able to make it any cheaper because the inputs may have gotten more expensive due to government controls of other aspects of their business, such as
Well, that may be
the
true.
amount of money it takes to raise dairy cows.
Well,
There could be a methane tax in the state that they're located.
well, that's true too. That all of that is true. All of it is true. So the answer is less government. There you
It
go.
is less government, but you will have people cry that less government means that we have less morality, because government comes from morality nowadays, apparently.
Well, and
It's required to be enforced at the point of the gun.
and you know what I'm seeing
Did
about
Jesus
to
say
happen?
that on one of his sermons?
Yes. The last thing I'll mention on this topic, and about a week and a half ago, the employment statistics came out, and we saw for the first time ever that government employment was greater than the private sector employment. So now I see the plan. If you want limited government, you're putting people on the streets. That's what they're going to say. This is okay. A year from now, let's see if that's what people argue. That the fact that you want a smaller government means you want to put people on the streets. That's absolutely wrong.
Absolutely.
But that's
So-
the argument they're going to make.
Do you remember when everybody's pointing out all the manufacturing workers and all the mining workers who were unemployed under Barack Obama, and some elite journalists made the sarcastic comment they can learn to code?
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yes.
Well, guess the unemployed government workers can learn to mine and manufacture.
There you go. Send them outdoors. Matthew, thanks for calling in. Have a good day. Let's go to Rusty. Rusty, you're on line 1. How are you, Rusty?
Hi, Jack. Well, I went out to vote, and I didn't like my experience.
Uh-oh. What happened?
I'm going to argue with you a little bit about your opening comments.
Okay.
I wouldn't have. They asked me to sign another piece of paper verifying where I live. I've been living in the same place for the last 7 years. And I asked the lady, why am I asked? No one else was signing this. And I said, well, why am I being asked to sign this? I have the same address for the last 7 years. She said, I can't answer that. So I've been meaning to, since I got home, to call up the Jefferson Parish voting people.
They have an
to find
office.
that out.
Yes.
But the reason I stood, Jack, is because it does matter to me. I know you said you didn't want to get into personalities, but I think Trump, regardless of his shortcomings, is a much better candidate. And it's not just a matter of one policy or another. To me, right now, our country is being invaded. If anything's going to make prices go up, it's 20 million people. That's what he says it is, Trump, invading our country. And to me, the person does matter. It's not just a matter of paying more for ice cream. After I left the place, I stopped into a store to buy me some pound cake. Three times in a row, the price went up nearly $2.
There you go.
And I'm saying, but this is less an issue than for the people to tell me, than for me to say, okay, I'm not going to vote because somebody's putting me on the spot here. I don't know who's checking into.
Can you just, I don't want to ask a lot of questions about it, but did you say that you were the only one that was asked?
I was the only one that was asked. And it was a long line. It was a long line.
So when you got to the end of the line, when you were, or the beginning of the line, the front of the line, and you were about to get your ballot, they asked you, you were the only person they asked what your address was?
Well, when they found me in the book, my
registration,
name in the book,
right?
And they said, oh, you can't go vote until you sign this other piece of paper. And I said, well, what is it all about? She said they want to have something else with your address. And I'm thinking, well, I got my ID that has my address and all that, and they have me on the books. And I'm thinking, I don't like this.
No, I wouldn't either. No.
Even though I'm not a worshiper of Trump, I don't see Trump. He's going to have problems no matter what he does.
Sure.
But I think he does make a difference. Personalities do make a difference. I see a fight in him that I don't see in many of the other candidates, Republicans included, to save the country. Now, whether he can do it or not, who knows? Without God's help, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But the thing is, I do think personalities mean something. And you were talking about the price of ice cream, but I guess I just feel like right now, I don't see any issues with people not going to festivals, not going to football games, not going. This is not the Depression. We can all argue. Everybody's got some festival going. I've been counting the festivals in the last week or two. There's about 10 a week. And I'm thinking, this is not a country that's going broke or individuals that are going broke.
No. And you're 100% right. And that's a great topic. It really is. How bad is the economy when you watch a football game, okay? College football game, or another program on a different channel against a football game, okay? Whether it's a movie they're showing or whatever. And the commercials are telling you, take money out of your pocket, add some numbers on your phone, and you could make more money if the team wins or the team loses or the team wins by so many points. Sitting on your couch, not in what service have you gotten? None.
Right.
You're just reaching into your pocket, and sometimes you don't have the money, okay? And you're reaching in, you've got a $800 mortgage payment or rent payment, so not a big place, and you only have $600 left in your checking account, and your mortgage is due tomorrow. How are you going to make up that $200? Yeah. FanDuel. You can make money on FanDuel. And it's coming out of your TV into your brain, and you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I can't get a job in the next hour. I'll do this. So you know, I am 100% with you. And to me, and you're right. Personalities matter, and I hope I didn't.
No,
when I said it, mean it as an ultimate point, but it doesn't mean as much as we have a federal government that is bloated, filled with all kinds of people that are quietly quitting their real life jobs and working for the government instead.
Yes, I agree with that. But Jeff, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
I know you've got to go to a break, but let me ask you this. Aren't the Democrats really the ones that have made this so normal to spend, so much money? At least the Republicans at least have the concept of the balanced budget. Or
the answer is yes. And when we come back for the break, I'm going to give you two great examples of how the Democrats are doing that and the Republicans are not. We'll be back in a moment with the Jack Clegg Show.
With WGSO for 17 years as host and now president and general manager. WGSO is a community-based radio station, a nonprofit, locally operated. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasizing local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, then we have some prime spots available for you. Take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Hi, I'm Huck.
And this is Dave.
Please join us on Liberty or Lockdown on Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Be there.
Hey, Mimi, we love Wednesdays, but we're moving to a new time.
Listen to He Said, She Said, Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
As usual, we'll be discussing and debating the hot topics.
And taking your phone calls.
You can find out who's right. Of course, that's me.
No, wait, Jeff, I'm never wrong. Remember, happy wife, happy life.
So we'll have a lot to talk about on He Said, She Said.
Listen to the Crew of Crew Air Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
Right here on WGSO.
Join me, J.C. Smith, on Stay Safe NOLA, Mondays at 5 p.m. as I discuss crime and how to stay safe in the Crescent City. Stay Safe NOLA, only on WGSO 990 AM.
Hi, this is Susan Berniker bringing you a new show, Health Connections, every Wednesday afternoon at 5 p.m. when we explore health from doctors, researchers, scientists, naturopaths, pharmacists, authors, fitness, and more. You'll be able to call in and ask your own health questions. So join me, Susan Berniker, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. right here on WGSO 990 AM with Health Connections.
I'm pet trendologist Charlotte Reed. Listen to the Pet Buzz airing every Saturday at 6 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
Real Talk with Revolution is back. This is Effie, and I've brought along some new friends.
Nikki D here. We'll be talking real estate, real life, and everything in between.
Please join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on WGSO 990 AM and streaming live at WGSO.com.
Hi, this is Kate Delaney from America Tonight. The show kicks on at midnight, and I'm loving the overwhelming support in New Orleans. What a group of fantastic listeners here on WGSO 990 AM. Join me every morning to catch up on what I call the buzz in your backyard and mine. You'll hear some of the most interesting people on the planet from the world of business, politics, sports, and, well, just intriguing people with a story to tell. If you're around, give us a call. Don't worry, I'll spit out the number plenty of times on the air. Let's agree to meet at midnight right here on WGSO 990 AM in New Orleans.
Coming through. There I am. Okay, hit the wrong button. Okay, I was going to give you two examples. We were talking about, your point was an excellent one. The government does have this bizarre control over us. And it's not all of us, but it's those of us that are easily misled. Okay, the government can change our expectations. They can change our expectations. And let me give you two examples of that. Okay. And again, we know this because we've experienced it ourselves. When we graduated from high school, and I say we, I'm talking about people that are 50 and over. Okay. You had a couple of choices. One was go to college. If you did well enough in school and you like that, you could go to college. Okay. The other was get a job, work in the trades, make a good living for you and your family and your kids, whatever. But the expectation was if you went to college, unless you were a really good athlete, unless you were a really smart person, essentially you'd have to pay unless you had a scholarship. Okay. So how'd you get the money? Well, loan money. Banks were able to loan money. It happened in the 60s, started loaning money to everyone so more people could go to college. And that happens. Okay. Now, for the very first time in 2021 and 2022, for the first time in history, the expectation was I could borrow money to go to college and I never would have to pay it back. Right? That if you're a young person, that's the expectation, because the president of the United States and the Department of Education are finding ways to forgive my loan forgiveness. Are we in a depression? If we're in a depression, maybe that would be a good thing. Okay, we're going to hold. No, we're not. In fact, they're telling us the economy is great. The jobs are available, that you can make a lot of money, but you don't have to pay your student loan back. So that is one of those. The other is, and we were talking about this, I was talking with Patty, my producer, before the show. The question of buying a house. Throughout this campaign, I've heard the Biden administration, through Harris, saying we're trying to find ways where young people can buy a home. What are you talking about, buy a home? When you were growing up and graduated from high school and graduated from college, you didn't move into a home unless it was your mom and dad's home and you moved back. but you didn't buy a house. Nobody bought a house.
No.
This expectation, these are crazy expectations that you don't have to pay back money you borrow, and that somehow some government entity is going to give you the deposit money, right? Isn't that what she said? Give you the deposit money so you can buy a house. I mean, seriously, the government changing life expectations is foolishness.
That's an excellent point, Jack. I mean, I remember years ago, I'm going back, I'm in your age category, where only a handful of people, at least around me, owned automobiles.
Right.
Now today, if you don't own an automobile, you're looked at as sort of out of touch or lower class or something. And so I use cabs all the time. People say, well, I said it's less expensive than buying an automobile.
Well, it is.
But the thing is, this expectation you're talking about. Some people have 2 family cars.
Yeah.
That's not enough today.
Yeah.
There's this expectation you're saying is, I hate to say it, it's a social identification,
Sure.
but it's also greed.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't see us in a depression. When I'm hearing some of the talk shows talking, this is the number one issue of the economy, I'm thinking, I don't know anyone that, generally speaking, is not eating food. I mean, I know the homeless people, and I mention those a lot. But the thing is, normal, average people are not going without food. They may go without expensive ice cream. But they're not going without food, and they're still going to football games and basketball games and tournaments and going to festivities, and they're going to restaurants all the time.
Yes.
I don't sound like people that are broke to me.
You are 100% right, and that is government expectation. If the government tells you the economy is so bad, the little things they give you become so important. You rely upon them, and there are certain segments of the society that relies on the government that shouldn't. All right. Thanks for calling, Rusty. Have a good weekend, and maybe we'll talk to you next Tuesday. This is Jack Clegg Show signing off. We'll be back next Tuesday.
Hey, it's Kevin Carr with your personal sneak preview